Hi and welcome to Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games. Sorry we're a bit late. I needed to bitch with Dan before the stream started so I could be nice during the stream. So thanks, Dan, for taking it in. But yeah, I'm super excited tonight because we're going to be playing a game that I've been waiting for quite some time called In the Shadows, Resistance in France from 1943 to 1944. It was released earlier this year by GMT Games, and Dan, you're one of the designers, but you're not the only one. And actually, there were a few designers originally because of the history of the game. But I guess we'll talk a bit about it. The purpose of the show is just have a quick chat with Dan. We talk about the process of making the game, and then we won't talk for too long, promise. We'll jump into the game, and Dan will teach me the game. He's going to play, I guess you're going to play the Nazis, and I'll be playing the Resistance, if that's okay. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here tonight. I can see that there are already some people in the chat. Salut.
Nice.
Have this game and haven't put it on the table. Also let us know, and think it's a really interesting game. But yeah, let us know. Do you have the game? Or are you thinking about having the game? Do you have questions for Dan? Please feel free to type this in the chat, and I'll bring it in the live stream, and Dan would be happy to reply. Arthur is saying, please talk for too long. Unfortunately, when we're touching those topics and I talk for too long, I tend to be canceled by a part of the hobby. So maybe it's not for the best. That's the problem. The whole clean Wehrmacht thing didn't do well for my audience. So I have to be, you can be anti-fascist in the hobby, but you've got to hide it, which is saying something.
I was wearing a Palestinian flag before we jumped on the live stream, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But
I don't know. Weird. Anyway, so that's the idea. But yeah, Dan, awesome to have you here. We've had you a few times on the show, but maybe some people don't know you yet, which would be a shame. So that's a good opportunity for them to know a bit more about you. Can you briefly introduce yourself and your work in this space?
Sure. So I've been designing since 2017. Designed a handful of card-driven games and some historical games. For my published work that people might be familiar with, it's No Motherland Without, which is about U.S. and West's Cold War with North Korea, and 1979 Revolution in Iran were my two first published designs. And I've done a small handful of other projects since then, including this game that I'm going to teach and we're going to play today on the stream, In the Shadows, which I co-designed with Joe Schmidt. And during the Constant Game Jam, I also worked with Chris Bennett on a wild and wonderful weekend once in 2021.
Yes, a 3-day weekend, a pretty intense one at that.
Yeah. And it's always a good exercise, I think, for designers to see how quickly they can throw together a prototype and get something down on the table where they can start moving around pieces. But the conflict you often run into is when you're making historical games, and that's primarily what you design. Usually everything would be oriented around having done a lot of research first. So in this case, it was wild weekend, satisfy the constraints of this contest, and then quickly try to get a playable game together for it. And then after the contest is finished, do all the research we should have done originally, then go back, retcon everything that we've designed so it suits that a little bit better. Oh, cool, now we've ruined the game. Now we need to make the game part fun again. And you just, I don't know, it's like an interesting twist.
Yeah, you telling this story makes me feel extremely bad because I feel somewhat responsible for the whole process.
I mean, you were. You just were, and that's fine. But it all worked out in the end.
Yeah. And I feel bad about it. I really thought the Concept Game Jam was a great idea. And when we launched it with Sean and Joe, we had this idea that we were going to get people into design and historical design, and having people realize that it's in a way that's not that hard. There is some skills that you need to learn, but like having a better understanding of how the sausage is made, would also raise awareness and people thinking about historical games in a different way from another perspective. The thing is that after the first edition, we realized, well, we have a bit of an issue here because we're asking people, we're giving them very tight constraints. This one was you have to recycle icon games. You take a box in any of the kind series, and then with the components in the box, you have to make another game. And I thought it was very clever. I was really happy with my idea. And then I realized what you just said is like I was asking people to make historical games in a very short time frame, and if they didn't know already a lot about the topic that they picked, it was going to be extremely painful if they wanted to make an actual game out of it afterwards. Yeah, so that was dumb. But yeah, I think you did manage to make a really interesting game. It was an excellent submission. It was one of the finalists. The one that won the Concept Game Jam was Vijaya Nagara, which was released last year by GMT, I think. Yeah,
excellent game, just fantastic.
It's just a fantastic game. So, but yeah, they also ran into the same problem, and yeah, I feel I feel also bad for them for this game. Like I made so many people suffer through my stupid ideas. So yeah. So if you're wondering why there is no other Concept Game Jam yet, it's just that I've been thinking a lot about how to do it differently, so we don't run in those kinds of problems, because it's actually defeating the vision that we originally had, and I still haven't solved it. But yeah, anyway, super happy that this came out. Really excited to. It's going to be the first time for me playing that final version, so that's very, very cool. And yeah. Before we start, you wanted to mention something regarding SDCon, an award, something. I don't know. I think that was something you wanted to mention.
I wanted to bring up that we're going to be opening the public nominations for the Summit Award this year. I think in previous years we've done that in the fall, but this year we're going to do it in the summer. We're going to have a deadline. I believe it's like July 7th, if memory serves. But we're going to be opening nominations soon, and then we're going to be taking the public nominations for a game that was published in 2024. That's what we're going to be looking at. And I know you've got some familiarity with this, Fred, because you've actually won one of these awards before. Yes, I don't know if you remember that. Maybe you're stacking a bunch of hardware somewhere, but yeah, red flag over.
I did win one of the awards. That's true. I think it was the first one that I won. I was expecting like an actual trophy that I could put somewhere in my office.
I have it. I just keep them all.
Okay.
I don't distribute them.
So I was somewhat disappointed, but it expanded. So it's not only games now. You have this game that expands the hobby, which I think is a really interesting idea. And now you're also taking nominations for a piece of media that you thought was also interesting, like raising an interesting conversation
absolutely.
in the hobby.
So the other award is the Bobby Nunez Memorial Award that we're giving out each year, and that's for an outstanding piece of media covering our corner of the hobby, which I'm really excited about because there's just been so much great work that doesn't really get a ton of recognition. Our first winner last year was Liz Davidson for Beyond Solitaire.
Yeah.
Amongst a really competitive class of nominees with Dan Thoreau of Space Biff, Amble Holland, and so we're just like looking for more work that kind of changes the way we think about the hobby and think about the games that we play. And I've really enjoyed like a lot of different types of media, not to suck up on your own channel, but like things like we intend to move on your works.
Oh yeah, that's not mine. So you can say all the good things you want. I'm just hosting it, but this is all Pierre, Stuart, and Alex also being their muse or inspiration on this. I'm just around making sure that it gets posted sometimes at some point on the I just upload the episodes most of the time. But it's a great series. I think it's personally. And I can say this because I'm not directly involved. It really made me understand a lot more the U.S. Civil War, but also made me reflect about how this event is depicted and how the depiction in games is actually saying something interesting about a country, which I've thought about in different contexts, but not for the U.S. Civil War. And I think for that, the episode like the series is amazing. I think they're doing a really good job.
It's really great. I like turning it on, listening to a bunch of games that I am very unlikely to play, but nonetheless, I still find it very fascinating to hear about them.
So great. So I put the link into the chat. I'm showing it here, but you can just click in the chat, and I will add it in the description after the show. So if you're watching this after the live stream, you can just look in the description and you'll find the link. And yes, I just checked. It is until the 7th of July. You can do your nominations. So I guess we're done with the chit chat, but I guess we'll probably talk more during the stream side. Now we get to play games. Okay, we're here to have fun. So and this is what matters, obviously. So I'm showing up the board here, and I think the way I like to do it is not necessarily do a full rules teach, but maybe having you give us an overview of what's the period, who are the factions, and what are we trying to do historically, but also in the game, I guess.
Sure. So for the basics, our factions are going to be resistance and occupation. The occupation player is going to be controlling the German units, which are the little black cubes on the board, and the blue milice units. The rebels, or the resistance, are rather going to be controlling the Maquis and the resistance cells, which are the red units that are going to be on the map. When we are during play, by the way, they're all in this little bag here. And the reason they're in this bag is because they are double-sided. So when they're on their covert sides, we just see that they're yellow or red. But the reverse side of each piece is either going to have the cross and Laurent, or we're going to have marked informants. And once a piece is revealed as an informant, it is no longer considered a resistance piece. It is now part of the occupation. But the resistance player cannot examine the loyalty of their pieces when they're putting them out on the board. That is something that only the shifty occupation player is going to be able to do when we're playing. And then the primary thing that we're trying to accomplish for each side, for the occupation, both the occupation and the resistance, their victory objectives are basically tied to this authority track here on the board. So each space of the authority track after start is going to be marked with the minimum number of pieces the resistance can have out on the board if they want to win. And then the secondary element to each of these spaces is the minimum occupation resources that the occupation player is going to need to have at the end of the game in order to qualify for winning. So for the occupation to win, if say this marker were on this first space, they would need to keep the resistance below 7 pieces out on the board, and they would need to have at least one resource tallied. We'll talk about how we do that just real quick. So their resources get marked up from an action called Roundup, which moves this confiscated resources marker through each of these spaces. And when it arrives in this final space here, that will shift this down immediately. And any resistance pieces that are on the occupation resources track will then immediately be moved to the resistance's recruitment pool. So that's going to be giving them more units that they can then in turn recruit onto the board and place out there. And this authority track is actually going to be moving down based on one of the resistance actions, which is sabotage. We have this little resistance operations marker, and every single time it moves into the lower authority space, we will lower this authority marker 1. And that will make the victory margins easier for the resistance to accomplish and more difficult for the occupation. The entire game takes place between 43 and 44, so it's in the aftermath of the Vichy. This period, it's basically running from 43 to August 44. The idea is not really representing necessarily a military victory or like an invasion, but rather about having a persistent resistance movement that's active and vibrant on the board. We have a disappeared box, by the way, and pieces will be uncovered during the course of the game. So whenever a piece is flipped over to this side that shows their loyalty, that is an uncovered status. And once pieces are uncovered, similar to a coin game, they are now vulnerable to being arrested. And when they are arrested, they are deposited in the disappeared box. These pieces do not count toward our objective for the resistance, so that would not satisfy that authority marker. And there is not a reliable means of getting pieces from the disappeared box back onto the board or recruitment pool. So they are either kind of killed, abducted in camps, what have you, but they're not often going to be incorporated back into the game. All right, so this is all solitaire stuff up in the corner. We don't need any of that.
Yeah, so, I don't want to hear about it. Can just destroy it. No, I'm sure you did a lot of work, and I'm sure it's amazing. I'll never play it, but yeah.
Joe did all of the work for this.
Oh, so it's probably crap.
So I won't even talk about it. But I understand he did an amazing job with it. So
yeah, of course he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to. Are you fairly familiar with the system? Able to play?
I'm sure we'll figure it out. It's gonna be fine.
I seem to remember trying to play just that way, and it didn't work out so well for my Robin Hood.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not here to win, so I think it's gonna be okay.
Okay, so to start, we're gonna deal out event cards.
Yep.
Deal out 2 each of us. You are going to be able to examine the suits of your cards before placing your recruits out on the board.
But I'm not examining the pieces, just the cards, right?
Right, just the cards. Yeah. But the marquee piece will have to be placed in one of these blue zones, anywhere in the southern district, and the 3 red pieces can be placed in any zones out on the map.
Interesting. I'm going to place this one in Lyon. That feels more historical. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and those 3. If I do something that you think is extremely stupid,
or illegal,
or illegal, obviously, but something that would be catastrophically stupid, please say something. 1, 2 et 3.
All right. Everything you've done is legal so far, so don't let it go to your head. Just
no. I'm getting more and more confident. I'm gonna go crazy now. I'm gonna start moving pieces around. Yeah. I've never heard the expression of playing solo two-fisted. I know two-handed, but two-fisted means
it means you can't manipulate the components in any way because they're just balled up in a fist.
Yeah, like exactly. It's like you're crushing them.
Yeah, you're an uninvolved band. I think that's how they mean by two-fisted. That's the goal. So the first thing we're going to do each round is going to be select one of the cards in our 2-card hand to play. Yep. We will reveal it face down. We'll place it face down, and we reveal them simultaneously. All right. So, Fred, you have played the higher value card.
I did.
So you will have your choice of either going first or second. In this game, both the event and the action points are spent. So if you are particularly worried or enticed to see an opponent's event, then you may want them to play first. Some of these events will create like a condition for the remainder of the round that's really hospitable for you. So you may want that to happen because if it happens after you've done your actions, it may not take any kind of effect.
But yeah, the 2 events are in my favor. So I think I will let you do your turn first, and then I will do mine.
Okay. Well, my turn begins with you doing something. How nice for you.
Yeah, interesting. So I may move 1 covert marquee to adjacent zone, perform a free ambush action, draw 2 resolution cards, and keep the result of your choice. So that means that we are going to explain how the ambush action works. I know that I can recruit in Lyon always. So I guess it would be nice to go from Lyon to Vichy.
Okay.
And let's do an ambush.
So an ambush is something that normally only a Maquis can do, and they would draw one card from the top of this resolution deck. But in this case, this is the super-powered version of this, so you'll be able to draw 2 cards, and then you'll get to use the result of your choice.
Yeah, I like that. That's all. That's good old Simon. Okay. And now I'm looking at the ambush results.
Yes.
And so maybe you can explain the resolution card so people understand what we're looking at.
Absolutely. So the resolution for this action specifically, in this case, one option would be that the piece would be uncovered, meaning we would flip it over, so it would be exposed. That kind of reflects like an ambush gone awry, and then no enemy pieces would be removed. And then in this other card result, Fred would have his choice of either removing a German unit from the space, there aren't any in this particular zone, or removing the Malise unit. And when you remove a Malise, you just push it to an adjacent space.
Yeah.
It's just out of your immediate vicinity. But with the German pieces, if they get removed, they would be plopped in one of these dark gray kind of charcoal colored areas and kind of removed from that zone entirely.
So in this case, the card has results for different kind of actions. So we're just looking at the one on the top left, which is the ambush one. I don't want to uncover my units, but I do want to get rid of that milice unit. So this is the result that I'm going to take. And I'm going to take that unit from Vichy, and I'm going to move it next to the Atlantic Ocean, because I think I will have a better time over there.
Yeah. And you're just closer to pushing them all the way into the water. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be great.
Yeah. Surf's up. No, that makes sense.
So one of those cards is a reshuffle one. So
right. So in this case, we would actually reshuffle the entire deck. There's only one reshuffle card in the entire deck. So both of these will go back on top. Back on top.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Up, I would put it back, and then I would do a shuffly shuffle.
So play shuffle. And as you were kind of pointing out, there are ambush results on those cards, as well as results for recruit actions and for sabotage actions. Those are the 3 actions that you would draw a card to consult to see what the outcome was when performing them as a resistance. And for occupation, they will use the cards to consult for a resolution of either a uncover action or an arrest action.
So that was my action.
That was my event, but it was your event.
Yeah, it was me doing the event, but now you have 6 action points to spend.
Yeah, an embarrassment of riches. So, I'm going to start spending my 6 AP. And for actions that we take in this game, we're spending the points down below, at the bottom of the card. But the suit next to those points also matters, because depending on which zone I perform actions in will determine whether or not I have to pay an unmatched suit penalty. So everything has a base cost of 1 for the occupation, except trying to arrest a Maquis piece. That was a base cost of 2. But it would cost 1 additional point if I attempt to do that outside of these red districts on the map. So I
would say the player aid is very well made. I'm just going to show this in full screen if I can. Let me show that. Where you have, so for example, for the resistance here, I have all of the different actions, how much it costs, and does it have this unmatched suit penalty? And you've got the odds of the resolution deck here, which is super useful. So I would say I thought it was a really, really well made player aid, like very useful for both knowing what you can do, but also evaluating what is viable. So I think it's really. I don't know who did this player aid, but they did an amazing job. I would say that.
Terry cleaned up our beautiful PowerPoint slide that we were using prior to
I mean, the content of the player aid is really, really good. And the design is also great. But I mean, the content is, it's often that, and I've been doing this. Like it often happens that you have player aids that have almost all the information, but it's pretty incomplete. And this one, I think, adds this layer of also helping you make strategic decisions, which I think is really awesome.
No, that's great.
Yeah. Sorry, I won't say nice things anymore. My bad.
Keep it to yourself. No, that's a good idea. So I'm going to spend 2 points to do the roundup action, which moves our confiscated resources to this space. Now, it would normally be 1 point to move it, but because it's a different suit than our card, it's going to cost 1 extra.
Oh yeah, because in here we are looking at the suits that are on the track.
Yeah, on the track.
So if you move from here to here, you wouldn't have to spend the extra point.
That's correct. And that's why I'm going to move that 1 more space after that for a single point. So now I've spent 3 to move those 2 for the roundup action. And then I'm going to attempt to do an uncover action here in P3. So that will cost 1 because I'm doing it in a red zone.
Yeah.
I'm going to...
And you're doing it against a red piece and not a Maquis.
Yeah, the uncover is always going to have a base cost of 1, even against the Maquis. But arresting the Maquis units...
Oh, yeah, it's the arrest that is different. Sorry.
All right. So in this case, we do not get a successful uncover.
Boo.
Brutal.
Bad. Yeah.
I think that guy just seems unlucky. So I'm going to spend another point to move this unit into this space. And then I'm going to use my final point to move this German into this space. It's just one poised for further action later.
It looks like you're not really trusting the local French authority to do your bidding.
Well, they didn't seem to uncover anything when I just sent them out, so clearly
this is true. This is true. And now myself, I have 7 points. Do I decide if I want to do the event before or after spending the points, or I have to do the event first?
It has to trigger the event first.
So okay. So until the end of the next round, ignore uncover result when taking sabotage and recruit actions. So this will stay for round 2 after that.
Yeah.
So 7 points. What should I be doing? I don't like this guy in Nancy being because you're gonna have your odds. The fact that you have the 2 colors in one place actually gives you better odds to uncover me. So I think I'm gonna move uncovered. It costs me 1, and I don't have an unmatched penalty suit. But even if I did, I'm in the correct suit, so that doesn't matter. So I'm going to
have to move covert, Fred, from that space.
Oh yeah, I moved covert, so that's going to be 2. Okay.
It'll cost 2 because he's trying to maintain.
Yeah, that makes more sense. He's trying to be a bit more discreet, so that's good. I want to have more people on the ground, so I guess the thing that I want to do is recruit.
Sure.
So I can do it in Lyon, which I will do. So that's going to cost me 1 to recruit in Lyon.
It'll cost an additional point because it's outside of the red.
Oh, yeah, correct. So that's going to be 2. And I'm going to draw 1 from that bag, correct?
You're going to actually draw a card to see if it succeeds first.
Yeah. Nothing is ever certain. Oops.
But this worked out just fine for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So I get to get 1 of those discs, and I'm going to put it in Lyon.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Good. How do I move this wheel?
Sabotage.
Yes, that's what we want to do. Sabotage costs 1. I have 3. So I think that the next thing that I'm going to do is spend 1 to try and recruit in Lille. So I'm going to spend another 1.
Okay.
I'm going to uncover another card. Oops.
Yep.
Oh. And I can bring in a Maquis if I wanted.
Yeah, except you do not have a Maquis.
I don't have one. Yeah. So it will have to be one of those pieces. And I will get the Maquis thanks to this, right? The occupation.
Right. That's where your future Maquis pieces are going to come from.
So for now, Lille is... And I'm thinking that this is good because now I can probably attempt to do some sabotage here. I think that would be probably a good place to do.
That's a great place.
Yeah, so if I want to do a sabotage, I select a zone where I have a unit and there are no unit markers, so that's perfect. And I'm going to draw a resolution card to see if I succeed in my sabotage attempt. And it's a failure, and there is going to be an alert on there, so that's not great.
So there's good news though, friend. You have more than one resistance unit in that space, so
Yeah.
you can draw a second card for your sabotage attempt. This is the only resistance action you get to do this for, and then you'll have to keep the second result.
Oh, and do I spend the AP for that, or is it a free
you've already
one?
spent the AP to do
Okay.
that action, right? So you're just going to draw a second card. All right, so it still did not succeed.
Yeah,
and
right
side,
it's actually worse.
The alert, but it's not worse in this case only because your false papers event prevents you from having to uncover.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, that would have been totally worse.
So we placed an alert. We're going to have to reshuffle.
Right.
I have 2 action points left. Actually, I should have 1, I think. Or 2. No.
Oh,
2. I don't remember. I don't know. I might have cheated. That's fine. I think I deserve it. Well, Lille doesn't seem like a good place to be in. So I'm going to spend those last 2 points to have at least one of those units moving away.
Okay.
And I am going to move in Normandy because that sounds very nice. And is the suit needs to match the origin or the destination, or any one of the two?
It's so the suit unmatched suit penalty only applies to non-movement actions.
Yeah, correct. It doesn't apply here. Sorry. Okay, so I could do that move, and that was my last 2 points. So this I will keep aside because it still is in effect until the end of the next round.
Great. So this would be the end of the round. So our end of round phase consists of 3 steps. 1, if the confiscated resources marker had arrived in Germany, we would reset it to the origin point.
Yeah.
It would be able to be moved again. Second, if there were any uncovered yellow marquee pieces in the blue zone, they can be flipped back to their covert side when you're in the South District. And then finally, if you had any yellow key pieces in your pool, you could place one automatically in a blue zone.
Yeah.
But none of those things happened, but I felt like it was worth mentioning.
It was worth mentioning. Good. So we're going into round 2. So it's moving fast. And now we get a new card, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I like the limited decisions, but still decisions anyway. Oh, this is good. Yes. This is what I'm doing. Here you go.
All right, so we'll flip it. Oh my.
Yeah, that's good. So I played Night and Fog right now because this is the worst time for you to have this event appear.
Correct.
I thought, because your authority is already maxed out. So I don't care about this. But do I want to let you do your stuff first? I'm going to look at what it does. Until the end of next round, the occupation may free move a German unit in response to any uncovered move action. And covered move actions cost 1 additional AP. I think I will do my actions first. So I can move without having the penalty of your event being in place. So I have 7 points, which I think is okay. I think it's a good number. I think I should always have 7.
Always have 7. Yeah.
Yes.
I hope the deck doesn't disappoint you in any way. All right.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is this guy in Lille is actually going to go a bit crazy, and no, he's not going to go crazy at all. He's just going to go in.
He's going to go away.
Yeah, he's going to go away. So that's the first thing. So that's going to cost me 2 action points.
Okay.
Where else? So what's the suit of this thing? So this is for this
for the white area,
West Coast region here.
Yep.
And I think that might be a good thing because it means that maybe I could, I feel like this region is going to be important next year. I have a sense that this might be important, but I
Somewhere
already
up
have
in that area, somewhere
yeah
along the beach, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, but I have presence, so maybe I can liberate Brittany, which would make sense. So I'm thinking. Let me think. I could recruit, but I need to have a resistance unit there. So maybe what I can do is actually I could recruit in M4. That would be fine. So that's the thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to do
You don't have any resistance available to recruit right now. They're all out on the board at the moment. Until the
interesting. So there's nothing left in the bag right now.
Not right now.
Okay, so I guess it's time for ambush and sabotage. That's
yeah.
I mean,
when in doubt.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I've got to kill some Nazis. It's like
Yes.
I hope I'm not offending anyone, but that's what I like doing. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to start by doing an ambush in M1.
Okay.
So an ambush in M1, I won't have any suit penalty because I'm playing in the right space because I'm a clever boy. So that's going to cost me 1. And the other thing is, so there are 2 of them. Do I also draw 2 cards this time, or
only
it's
for sabotage when
only for
performing
sabotage?
where there's more than 1.
Okay. So I'm going to do this ambush and hope for the best. And the ambush is a success. I get to remove one of those blue pieces. And what I'm going to do is, you know what? I've heard there are some stuff happening in Lille. There is probably a lot of activity over there. So I'm going to move you there.
That's great. And as a result of that happening, so anytime with these alert markers, whenever an occupation piece moves into a space that has one, we clear the alert marker.
Oh, that's nice. So that was extra clever.
Extra clever.
So that's nice. I can keep ambushing in the same space, right?
Anytime you perform the same action of the same type in the
plus
same
1
zone,
point,
you have to uncover a unit of yours.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to do an ambush in M4.
Okay.
So that's going to cost me also 1 AP. And it doesn't work.
No.
That's annoying. Well, it would have worked against militia, but not against Germans. So, okay, I have 3 points left. I need to do some sabotage. So I'm going to do a sabotage in M1.
Sounds great.
So that's going to cost me 1 action point. And this is when I could potentially draw a second card.
Yeah, if you don't like this first one, you'll have second as option. That's a really bad one. So
that's an awful one.
Yeah, great for ambush, though.
Yeah, that's pretty shit. So I'm going to draw the second one.
Okay.
And look at that.
Nice.
So that's really good. So that means that I'm going here.
Correct.
And that means that this goes down?
Yes.
Good. This is what we wanted. Unless there is... it says unless there is a traitor in the zone, but we don't check. Until it's not revealed, it doesn't matter.
It would have to be a revealed in front.
Yeah, great. So that's good. I kept 2 in case I needed to move out. So that's good. So that means that I could spend another point to do another sabotage in M4.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty good. Oh, why wouldn't I do a sabotage here? Like, I mean, I probably risk less in Vichy.
You can do a sabotage there, but it will cost both of your remaining points.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do the 2 points and attempt 1 in Vichy. And that's awful. There is no one there. No one can see me. Oh my god!
There's about to be.
So this gets flipped, and I get to place an alert marker in Vichy. That's bad. God. Anyway, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I still have this that is active.
So it would be covert still.
Yeah, it would be still be covered, but the alert is placed. Yep. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, good. So it's not too bad. It's bad.
Otherwise, I could walk right in there and try to arrest him right away just to take advantage of night and fog. So that would have been
That would have been awful. But yeah, so that's
funny, like a little funny.
No, I don't think so.
You get that whole thing about how it was really smart, and it was a great time to get it. Remember?
Oh god, this is bad. Okay, but that's all good. So I'm done with my my actions.
Okay.
And now you have yours. I guess I can discard this one now.
Discard that safely.
And
you get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah, it was great.
The
great. False papers were pretty useful.
Yeah. All right. So Agent Provocateur will be in business.
Thank you, Tim, for the strategy tip. I would say that's my
here to help.
Yeah.
To a point. So I am going to spend my first point on an informant action in M1 up here. So I'm going to check to see whether or not this piece is an informant. And if it is, I have a choice of revealing it or not. And the reason you may opt not to reveal it is because if they are clustered with other units, they can uncover one of the resistance units when you reveal an informant. But if they're by themselves, you might wait until the resistance player assumes that it's a safe unit, and then you'll expose it then for more catastrophic consequences. So I'm going to take a look. And I will leave that as it is.
I don't trust them anymore.
And then for my second action, I'm actually going to move confiscated resources into that space, which will free up this marquee for you. But now I'm at least consistent catching up with this. Because I can only raise it a maximum of 1 per space without the help of an event. So if I ever fall too far behind on authority, where authority is with the resources, I could end up in a position where I might not ever be able to catch up. So I try to be careful with that. And then I have 1 point remaining, and I'm actually going to spend it to do the same action in M1. I'm going to do another informant action, but with the other piece. And while the resistance can never do more than 1 of the same type of action in a zone without uncovering something, the occupation is allowed to repeat the same action. And I will reveal it this time. So you do have an informant there, and they will uncover this piece as well.
And so that was your third action point.
That was my third action. Yep. So that's it for the round. Night and Fog didn't do anything, which is a great version of Night and Fog. Then end of round phase. So confiscated resources comes back to Paris. You have a Maquis unit that you have the option of putting out in a blue zone if you'd like.
I think I will. Put it in Marseille.
And it's round 3.
Oof. Oh, I don't want you to do that.
Oh my.
Nice.
So we tied. Whenever the cards are tied value, resistance chooses the order.
If I will take 1 cell or marquee from any space on the occupation, strike, and place it on any zone. I think I will I will let you do your card first.
Okay.
And we'll do the event. Does it have to be the next one, or?
No, it can be any of them on any space.
Then great. Then I will take this one. I will take this one, and I can place it in any zone. I think I'm going to place it here.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm going to place it. Wait a minute. What is my... Oh. My suit is the... So what does...
This particular suit, anytime we see this on the card, like I had it on my previous one. I didn't point that out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is considered wild. So this will match in any zone that you play it.
So then I would put it in Lille. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And then you have your 6 action point to do on the West Coast.
Sure.
I guess some people are gonna disappear.
There's a chance.
Yeah. Something you may have to make sacrifices. So that's fine.
Okay. I'm going to spend my first point to attempt an arrest. You're an M1. I'm going to draw a single card, and it is successful. So this goes into the disappeared box.
What happens with those scheming?
They remain out on the board. They can't be ambushed, but the occupation player can move the double agent or the informants around to other cells. So I could move it with a movement point, action point into this area, where it would increase my chances of uncovering and arresting your units, and it would decrease your chances of success with your own resistance actions because they're alerting and informing, the occupation before these activities occur. I'm going to use the second point to advance confiscated resources because that's in the same suit, and I like that. I am going to spend a third point and try the informant action in M4. So I want to take a peek at this guy. And even though I could be all clever, I would rather just reveal him right now.
Oh, God, that's bad.
All right. I will spend a fourth point to move them into P4 because I like that they'll screw up your stuff. And then I think five, 6 feels gratifying. I'm going to attempt an uncover in P2. So I'll just flip this card up real quick. And that uncover is successful because there is a Melise unit in that space. And that's it.
That's already a lot. Okay, I have 6 points. Until the end of next round, the resistant may make a free covert move. Each time a militia or German unit enters one of those 2 zones. So
either the white or the red.
Yeah, the occupied ones. But that's not going to help me much right now.
And don't forget, this card is still active. So this is the one that makes your covert moves more expensive, I believe. Yeah. 1 AP, and it allows me to free move after an uncovered move.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm going to try... I could still try to do some ambush, even if I'm uncovered.
You can ambush with Maquis pieces.
Yeah.
Not with the red cells, though.
That's annoying. And and that will cost me 3 to flip this one.
Yes, with the hide resistance, because there's so many pieces there.
Yeah.
However, you can influence the cost of hide resistance by successful ambushes, and you can also decrease the cost of covert move.
Yeah, that might be a good thing. So I think I'm going to start by doing some... I guess I need to do some sabotage first then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do sabotage in Marseille.
Okay.
That's going to cost me 1 because I have a wild card. And sabotage...
Success.
It is a success because it's a yellow. No alert marker is going to go there. So this is going to go here. I'm going to do another sabotage, and I'm going to do it in Vichy this time.
You can't do it there only because there's an alert marker.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
However, you could move that unit to somewhere else.
Yeah, but you're going to be able to...
It's a it would be a covert move, so it's just going to make it.
Oh yeah, so that's
more
going to cost me
expensive.
only 1 AP, so that should be fine. So I'm going to play 1 because we are on that sector of the
Right.
operation. So that's going to just cost me 1, and then I'm going to spend 1 to do the sabotage.
Success.
And that's a success. That's awesome. So now I can hide that resistance unit because this sector denies this. So I'm going to spend 1.
Yep.
Hide it. And now I have 2 points. But now the covert moves cost 3, and I have 2 left. Probably should have first. Like the sequencing was probably important. I should have thought about
Order
it.
of operations does count in this game.
Yeah, a bit. I should have thought about it a bit. But I guess, well, if this is the case, the only thing I can do now is just I'm gonna ambush in Lyon.
Okay.
So that's gonna be my attempt. I'm gonna spend 1 IP to try and ambush in Lyon, and it's a failure. But I mean, it could be worse. So I'm not
Could
gonna
always be
complain.
worse.
And then I'm gonna try and ambush in Lille.
Not ambush there because there's no marquee, but you could sabotage in that space if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt the sabotage. Yeah.
Okay. Success.
It's a success, but I do get an alert marker. But your authority is lowered, and we place an alert here.
And then on this space of the authority track, so the CNR has been formed. So now you can use the red and white suited cards interchangeably in those districts. And that's only going to apply to the resistance. Great. This is gone.
So this is done. I'm going to
actually, that's going to stay out.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Until the end of the next round.
I need to remember what it does.
I think
but it only applies when you enter one of the zones covered by the CNR. So that makes sense.
Terrible. I don't think there's any end phase stuff that needs to be done.
I don't think so either. Oh, no. I do not want you doing this. Can I avoid it? That's the question. Oh my god, this is awful.
So you could, but it's going to take some shenanigans. If you can manage to uncover all 3 of these cells that are out on the board right now before my turn comes up, that would prevent that event effect from happening.
Yeah, because Germans are basically fucking everywhere. Hey, Chris. There is only 2 spaces where they are not. They are not in Vichy, they are not in Marseille. Oh, and they are not in Dijon.
And I just want to point out, so this is an alert marker in a zone by itself. If ever there's no pieces in the space, we get rid of the alert
marker. Okay. I think I'm going to try to do it so I don't get your thing happening. So I can move each Maki to an adjacent zone.
Yep.
Which means that, wait a minute. So it's only cells that you're going to be able to move. So
right.
So this one is not at risk in Toulouse.
But you may want to move it into your suit, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If I move it to M3, it will become more useful. And then actually I'm going to move this one from Marseille to Toulouse just because I can. And I mean, Marseille feels a bit closed, you know. I feel like I have more option if I'm here. I'm adjacent to more spaces. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. So that's what I did. I did the event and now I have 6 points to spend. 6 points to spend, and I want, for some weird reason, I want to be covered or not in a space with a German unit. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do an uncovered move from Lyon to Vichy. So
a covert move?
Covered move, yeah, covered move. So that's going to cost me 3 actually.
Only 2.
I don't have the right suits if I go. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
For
sorry.
moves,
Yeah, I keep forgetting. So that's going to be 2. I could do. I can move the same piece twice, right?
Yes.
So I could do 4. This one could go from here to here to here, I guess.
Yep.
But that would be everything for the round.
Yep.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
You shouldn't do that.
That doesn't.
Because remember, this is in or adjacent to a German.
Oh yeah, so it won't matter. So yeah, you know what? So none of this matters actually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this back. Sorry, I'm just going to be super annoying, and I
just wanted to feed your existential dread. I think that's great.
I'm gonna ambush instead. Oh no, but it needs a Maquis. Oh fuck.
In R1.
Yeah, in R1.
Sabotage then, right?
Yeah, it will have to be a sabotage. So that's gonna cost me. That's gonna cost me 2 this time still. And I'm going to draw a card to see if I succeed. And it is a failure. So an alert is going in. I'm gonna go crazy on the sabotage, I think.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a sabotage in Dijon. That's gonna cost me 1.
1. Yep.
Because we have the resistance fer that's active. So let's go for a sabotage action. And it is a failure because it's only a red piece.
Right.
I'm gonna try in Lille. I can do it even if there is an alert, right?
Oh, there's an alert there, so
so I couldn't. Yeah. In that case, let me think.
Yeah, M3 is good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But in M3, I can actually ambush.
You could.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 1 AP to do an ambush in M3. And yes, that works. So I'm going to put this guy. Actually, I changed my plan. I thought I was going to free Brittany, but actually I'm going to try to concentrate everything in Brittany. So that's
constant revision. That's the way to do
it. So that's that. And then I have 2 points left. I could move away with this guy, but that's not going to do anything for me. I'm going to try to ambush in Toulouse.
Okay.
So that's going to cost me 2 though, because this one is not covered by resistance fer. So that's going to be 1, 2, and let's ambush. And it's a failure, so nothing happens. So that's the end of my card.
All right. So for my card, I'll go and tell the Germans about it. I am going to whisk this unit off the map, and then it's going into the disappear box.
And we don't flip it?
we can flip it because we know it's loyal. But
Yeah.
technically, if we hadn't covered the other two informants, we would actually keep it flipped. So if the occupation hadn't done its homework to identify the loyalty of that unit, they wouldn't know if they may have accidentally removed an informant from the board. So for this, I have 3 points that are wild. So I'm going to spend 1 point here in R1 to perform a reprisal, which will automatically flip anything in the space that has an alert and a German to its uncovered side. So that costs me 1. I'm going to move this German unit into R1. Because there's no alert marker there, the first unit that goes into that space costs 0 to move.
But it would remove the
even
others.
though your resistance fire is active, I'm in the blue zone, so it's not going to trigger anything. I'm going to spend my 2nd point to do an arrest here in R1. So let's flip the card, and it's a failure. But
nice.
I have 2 German units there. If I have 2 or more, I can draw a 2nd card. And still a failure. Loving it. So I'm going to actually attempt to do that action 1 more time. Why not? Feel like I'm due some.
And it's a success because you've got some Germans there.
Clear that out, and that is all 3 of my points. So this goes away, and then this is the last of that event. For end phase, nothing needs to be reset, and there's no marquee to put out. So we go to round 5, and then we each get dealt a new card. Everything's going swimmingly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not going well. Okay, I'm gonna play Jean Boulin.
Oh, nice.
So Jean Boulin is actually used to be when the war started, was the prefect of the city that I live in. So it was the prefect of Chartres. So that we have a huge painting of him in the city center. Very important guy. So which one do I want to do? Whereas Darnan was a piece of shit. So
exactly.
The 2 of them next to each other is quite a contrast.
It's a contrast. Yeah, you help form the CNR, and I'm just gonna be a rat piece of shit. I think I will go first. Though I'm kind of debating. Maybe that's not such a great idea. No, I'm gonna let you go first. I decided.
Okay, so for the remainder of the round, sabotage actions in the West Coast will not draw alert markers regardless of the result. So that's nice. That actually tells me that I need to do some sabotage. That's the thing. And I have no more pieces in that bag, right? This is
correct. So I know I'm going to need to move occupation resources this turn, but by making you go first, I can wait to add them to your recruitment pool until after you've gone.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. Don't have a lot of options here. I'm going to try to... I think I'm going to try to ambush in M3.
Okay.
So I have 5 action points. Ambush is going to cost me 1. And ambush is a failure. Cool. If I want to do it again, that would cost me 2 action points, right?
It would cost you a single action point, but you'd have to uncover.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I'm going to do it in Toulouse now. So 1 action point to do it in Toulouse.
To sabotage there or ambush? Because there's nobody.
To sabotage.
Sabotage, got it.
Yeah. Oh, but that would cost me an extra 1.
It would, yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'm still going to do it.
Okay.
For fuck's sake. When to reshuffle that awful deck? I have 2 points left. And I guess that with my 2 points left, I could move covert. from Dijon to Vichy.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Given my card is blue, it might be a wise idea to at least stay where.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Cover is
Yeah.
going to be expensive.
Oh God. Could I sabotage in M3 without revealing it because it's a different action? Yeah.
Different action.
Yeah, but then again, I would have one.
It will cost
action.
1 to do it.
Yeah, but I would have one action point that doesn't serve any purpose if I do that.
If you succeed, covert move will be 1 AP.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Okay, so I'm
if you
gonna
don't
spend.
Succeed, you're gonna be pissed already anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 1, and I'm gonna try to do that sabotage action.
Success.
And it's success, and I don't put in the alert because we have Jean Moulin active. So now it means that the covert move costs 1.
1.
And I'm going not to move in a blue zone. I'm going to move in Nancy.
Okay.
Because then I'm not with that.
Yeah, getting away from that guy.
Informant piece that I don't want to be in contact with. And those are my action points. So I will keep it here because it's... oh no, for the remainder of the round. So this gets discarded. Yeah.
All right. 6 points to spend. So I'm going to spend 2 to advance to do roundup and advance to that space. I'm going to spend 1 to round it up to the final space. It's hard to see underneath this because this is normally the marker that we're moving down there. I don't know why there's 2 authority markers, but that's the wild suit. So it just costs 1 to move it and finish the resources there. So that will advance occupation resources 1, and that will give you a new recruit for your recruitment pool. So I've spent 3 already this turn, but in the interest of creating more trouble, I think I want to spend 1 point to move Melise there in R4, and I'll spend a point to try to uncover this Maquis in that space, and I have succeeded.
You succeeded, yeah.
So he flips over. Now, why did I do that? Because I can't arrest him.
Which is great.
That was terrible. That was dumb.
It's awesome.
So final move, I'm just going to actually bring a German into this space.
Yeah, for the future. With a bit of chance, you might go first next round then, yeah.
Yeah. So that is it for that card. And so now we advance the round. Confiscate resources, come back, deal out a new event. And then also this unit here, because you have a Maquis that's uncovered in the blue zone, it will flip back to its covert site.
Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely going to use this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, la CIMAD.
Yeah.
I'm actually a member. This organization still exists. Now it's really working to help migrants when they come in France, to help them with their administrative process to be able to have a visa to stay and stuff like this. So it is still an active organization to this day in France.
That's very cool. I think the version of the card that we had when I had done the did the game jam and like in our prototype for ages was I want to say Andre and Magda Trocme. I think they were on the picture on that card originally. But yeah, it's like really fascinating story about it. I will have you go first, actually.
Okay, so I think this is the time to do some recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, this piece should be in the bag, right?
Yeah, you can put it in the bag.
Yeah.
All the pieces that come off the occupation resources are going to be loyal. And only because the bag has been emptied already would you not really need to worry about commingling them.
But I'm going to recruit. but I have to recruit in red, and I have to recruit where there is
You
a
don't have to do it in
resistance.
red, only because of CNR being formed. So now you can do it in red or white.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Sure. So now I can do it in red and white. So I could do it in Bordeaux.
Mhm.
And wait a minute, I'm going to go at 3. So I'm going to spend 1 to do a recruit action. And I'm going to draw a card. So this is an attempt in Bordeaux.
Success.
And it is a success. So I'm going to bring this guy in. That would cost me 2 to do it in Lyon.
To do it where?
In Lyon.
In Lyon, yeah.
And if I do it for... Oh, and my covert movement costs 1 AP. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1 move from here to here. And then I can recruit.
You do 1 more there, yeah.
Yeah, then I can recruit there. And that's a recruit. Look at that.
Success.
Oh, they're not disappeared anymore. Nice.
They're appeared.
Yeah, they're appeared. They escaped. That's awesome. Great. And now it would be your turn, but I don't think the event does anything for me. So
the event won't do anything for you. It's just 4 points. I am going to spend 1 to move Luis here. I'm going to spend a second to try to uncover a unit. I think it's meaner to do the one that just appeared.
Yeah, that's just awful.
So I'll try to uncover that, and that's a failure.
Nice.
3, I'm going to try to uncover again in the same place, but I'm going to do the other unit because clearly this guy's shifty. I got.
Yeah, well, they've got experience. I mean, they've been uncovered already once.
So this is successful.
Yeah, it is a success.
And then for my 4th, I am going to arrest in that space. Beautiful. All right.
Great.
So that's it for that round. And we'll deal card each.
Interesting. Yeah, I think this is a good time to play this. Oop.
All right.
I'm playing Josephine.
So this event won't do anything, but only because our informants have already been discovered on the board. All right. I will choose to go first. I like the back-to-back rhythm. I'm going to spend 1 to move the German unit into M4. I'm going to spend 2 to arrest an M4, this uncovered unit, because it's out of suit. And that will succeed. Put it back in the disappear. Now we have to reshuffle. Look at that, it's on the bottom of the deck after all those times where it was very close to the top. I will spend 2 points to try to uncover an M4, the remaining unit that's there. And I failed. And then my last 2 points, I'm just going to do the roundup action to move this 1 space.
Okay.
And that's it.
So I may draw 2 cards from the deck, select 1 to keep, and return the other to the event deck and shuffle. Okay, so I'm going to take 2. That means that I'm not going to draw on the next round, or I will have 3 cards.
You won't draw next round.
Okay. Oh, but I reshuffle, so I know that you're not necessarily going to have it. So I'm going to put this one back because it's a bad one.
So a good one?
No, it's a bad one. It's a really bad one. It's an awful one. So I have 4 points to play in the southeast. I'm going to try to ambush in Toulouse first. So
Okay.
4 points. I'm going to spend 1, and I'm going to do an ambush.
Nice.
Nice, nice, nice. I think I'm going to remove the German, and I'm going to place it back in Italy.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. I'm still in cost of 1 to move covert.
Yes.
So, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay 1 and have this guy come in here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try doing some sabotage. I have 2 points left. So I am going to sabotage in Vichy first. So that's going to cost me 1 because I'm in the right space. And sabotage is a success, but I place an alert. And that doesn't matter because it's going to be removed at the end of the round. Sabotage moves this here. Sorry.
Yeah, and it won't get removed at the end of the round just for being there. That alert marker is going to stay.
Okay.
It's only if the space were to be abandoned of pieces, then it would get removed. Or if
okay, I thought it would. I thought it would if it was none of your pieces, but it makes sense. And then I'm gonna do with my last point, sabotage in Toulouse. And that's a success. So it will go here, it will lower your authority, and I will place an alert marker in Toulouse. And I think that's the end of the round.
Yep.
So you'd get to draw a card. I already have one.
I will just take off the top of the deck then. So we're going to be playing a total of 2 more rounds.
Yeah.
So we will have 1 hold card left at the end of the game that neither of us is going to use.
Yeah. I'm going to play this. Oop. Doing a twisty twist. So I get to choose. So what do you do? Until the end of the next round, advance occupation resources to space when the confiscating resource marker enters the final space. That's awful. Okay. Clandestine press is pretty good. And what's your suit? Your suit is wild. That's bad. And for me, it's the top 2 over there. I think I might let you go first.
That makes sense because I'll be able to add to your recruit pool, and then you can clandestine press them out on the board. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it would. Yeah.
So I'll spend 2 to do my 2 roundup actions.
Yeah.
It will advance occupation resources down to 4, which is pretty awesome. 3 more to move. I will spend 1. I'm going to try to uncover up here in P3.
You never succeed. They are too good.
They're too good. Boy,
told you. Yeah.
I thought you were lying. I thought you were...
Told you that those are my best guys. This is the old guard. Those are communists, you know?
I'm going to try it one more time, just to see.
Well, if you send so much resources, you might succeed, but it's just because of, you know?
Oh, I see. I didn't, though. So
you didn't, but
I had more faith in your units. Totally fine. I'm going to spend my last point, actually, to move the informant to this space. Right here.
Ooh. Okay, I have 5 points. I can perform 2 free recruit actions in Zone E with or adjacent to cells as if a resistance unit was present.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love that. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. But I do... So, those free recruit action means that I don't care about the suit.
Yeah, and it's going to basically be in addition to your action points. So you're doing this without spending AP at all.
So I'm going to attempt to recruit in Paris.
Okay. Success.
And that's not just a success. That's an amazing success.
Oh, I see.
I think it's important to have our facts straight here. And now, because I'm here, I can attempt to do it in M1.
Yes.
Because I'm adjacent to it. So that's going to be another recruit, and that's a failure. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Now I have 5 points to spend. I have 5 points to spend, and I want to lower that authority as much as I can.
Yes.
Because I don't have a lot of time right now. Let me look at the situation on the board. So 3 resources. You're bidding that because you're at 4. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on the board. So for now, you're in a winning position.
Just at the moment.
Yeah. So that means that your authority needs to get lower, and I need to place more pieces on the board. So that's the 2 things I need to do. But yeah, I need to go and try to do some sabotage. So I'm going to try and sabotage in R3. Can I do that? Oh, no, that's going to be expensive.
There's an alert marker there.
Yeah, I'm going to do it in M3.
Okay.
And this is a success. So this is going to move here, and I'm going to place an alert marker here. I'm going to do it. Yeah. So now covert move costs 1. Meaning that I could spend 1, move those guys here.
Yep.
And spend 1 to do another sabotage.
In M2?
In M2.
Okay.
Not the whole deck, just a card. And this is a failure. Okay, that sucks. Okay, I have 2 points left. I could do the same thing and try to do it in M1. Oh, no. I know what I'm going to do.
You can also try to sabotage in P3. Don't forget you've got a unit up there.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to spend 1 to attempt in P3. And that's a success. But it does place an alert because it was a red unit. Sorry about that. And now with my last point, I'm going to attempt to do it in Paris. And that's a failure. And we reshuffle. But I needed to do it. I think it was the way to go.
It's a good rally, for sure. So do round 9.
Round 9.
Resources back to the start. You can place that marquee out on the in a blue zone.
And I'm going to place it in Marseille. Oh my god, this is awful. Fucking hate it. Oh, actually, this is fine. I don't care. I'm going to play this. I had a card that I kept for the last round, and I forgot it was the last round, so that's good. Oh, and this is the one that I didn't want you to have, but I knew that it was going to come at some point. Yeah. Yeah.
2 wild cards.
Yeah.
A wild suit. So, who would you like to go first?
Who would I like to go first? I think I'm probably going to react to what you do. So okay. I think I'm going to let you go and play this awful card.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Yeah.
All right. We'll put him out. Klaus is out. Once per round, he'll let me either redraw an uncover result.
Yeah.
Or I can look at your hold card, but you're going to show it to me at the end of the game anyways. So I won't be doing that. So for my first action, I'm going to move a German from here to P3 for free because there's an alert marker there. Actually, no. I'm going to do this in a different order. Instead, while we've got the alert marker here, I'm going to spend 1 point to do a reprisal in P3. So it'll flip this to its uncovered side.
Awful.
Then we'll move him.
Then that removes the alert.
For free. I will spend a second point to arrest here in P3. That does not succeed, but because I have 2 Germans there, I can draw a second card, and
this succeeds. Yeah. 3, 4, 5.
All right, where else can I cause trouble? I will do something similar here. I'm going to do a reprisal in Paris to uncover that unit. Then I'll move a German into Paris for free, that alert marker, and I'll spend my last point to arrest in P1. And that is a failure, but I do have 2 Germans there. So the second one is a success.
Fuck. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what I need to do is, let me think. So I need to decrease your authority by 1 step, and I need to recruit 1 unit. Right?
I'm at 4 right now.
But if I have 5 units on the... Oh, right.
But if you had the 5 units, yeah, that would still be good enough.
Yeah,
Yep.
So that's what I need to do. Okay. Can I do that? The problem is that there are alerts everywhere. I have 4 points. I don't think I can do it. Can I do it? 2, 3, 4. That's gotta be tight. I guess I can spend 2 points to go from Rennes to Normandy.
Okay.
Because there is no alert marker here, so that's probably the place I want to be in. Actually, do I care? Wait a minute.
I would probably recommend doing the sabotage in R2 first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I do the sabotage in R2 first, so that's going to be 1 action point. And that's a success. So this goes down, and I place an alert marker. And now I need to recruit. But I cannot recruit in a place where there is an alert marker.
You can recruit where there's an alert marker.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, so then I have more options. So I have now 3 points to spend for recruiting. And I just need a resistance unit. So, and I have only 1 piece that I can place.
Right.
So I'm going to attempt recruitment in, you know what, just to, out of spite. I think I'm going to do it in Lyon.
Okay.
And we're going to go and try and kill Klaus Barbie. That's the idea. So going to spend 1. Attempt to recruit. It's a success. Nice. And now I have 2 points left. Now I can go crazy and do whatever I want, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna ambush. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna spend 1 to ambush in R4, so in Toulouse. And that's a success. I'm gonna push you here on the coast. And then I'm going to spend my last point to ambush in Rennes and hopefully get rid of one of those dirty Germans.
Nice.
So that's any 2 or?
Any 2 in that space.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm going to take this one and move it here. And here it is. That's the end of the round.
Yep. Success.
So for you to win, you needed to have 4 resources at least, which you did, but you needed me to have less than 5 units on the board, right?
Right.
Yeah. And if you don't...
5 exactly.
Yeah. Oh, but I have 5 exactly, so you win.
No, you've met your resistance units required. So that's the thing. I had to keep you under the 5. And I had to meet my occupation resources.
Whew. That was tight, extremely tight.
It was extremely tight.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time reapprehending people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that I got this card. That was really good. It helped me a lot, and
It's good timing to get that for sure.
yeah, placing two. If I had this at the beginning, that would have been painful. But yeah, that was great. So, how long has the game been out now?
I want to say it's been out since March, I believe.
Yeah, and how has the reception been so far? You feel?
I think the reception's been pretty good. We've heard pretty positive feedback. I think a lot of folks really are just pretty happy to have a game that they can play in like under an hour, and like stuff that kind of caps off like a game night. And I heard a lot of great compliments on the rulebook, which is always good to hear, particularly because we had used Red Flag Over Paris' rulebook as our template when we were initially doing it.
Bad idea. Idea.
Those 12 pages, I think, really helped kind of get people to drop in and like basically be able to start playing right away. So I really appreciated that. And Joe and I are already working on doing something with this system that's kind of similar. We put together an Andor adaptation of this game that we've been playtesting. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so we've just been it's been really interesting to kind of see how to adapt some of the same mechanisms and what needs to change and what we're able to kind of hold over.
Do you want to show us a sneak peek?
Sure, I can show you a sneak peek.
Let's see. So I'm gonna join the server once again. But yeah, and of course, just to be clear, this is not official. This is
Don't pretend you don't see it. Pretend you didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah, this is secret. This is just for the few of us that are in the stream right now. Something that is completely Disney probably is not interested in those kind of. Ganix is calling Disney right now. We hate you, Ganix. You are an awful person.
So yeah, you can see a lot of this has like a lot of similar components to In the Shadows as far as having a representation for authority, for kind of the confiscated resources are now adapted to the Death Star construction.
Yeah.
Our map sectors, we just used like a galaxy nav map.
Yeah.
And there are locations that are featured in the show. So you still have like Scarif and Steerguard and Rao and Ferrix and things like that. Gorman down here. And of course, it was represented by a few different areas. So there's like a hyperspace movement to get out of the core system to go from places. And then there's a system movement to go to adjacent spaces. And then units are represented as either loyal rebels or double agents. And double agents become Imperial pieces. And we did something similar with the event cards here too. So in addition to having Rebel or Imperial cards, we also have some of these double agent cards too. And so the idea for the double agents was to have an event that played differently depending on which active player was the one that was playing the event. So there were like 3 or 4 cards that have an option in terms of like what effect is going to get employed depending on who's playing them.
This is a very cool idea.
I'm sorry, what?
This is a very cool idea. I think it's it's very cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, when we were able to represent the suits again, because had like the difference between different like Old Republic, Separatists, and the Phoenix Cell stuff. So it's kind of neat to have a game where like you can understand that certain players are like or certain characters, because we basically changed the deck from being more of an event-driven deck to being like a character or a persona card type of events.
Yeah.
And then being able to kind of represent the characters in that way, since our cells and Stormtrooper and agent units were a little bit more generic on the board, but then giving them like different kinds of abilities that we felt like were a little bit more thematic, kind of taking cue from how character abilities are kind of incorporated in something like, say, Game of Thrones or something along those lines. So but we had some cool options. So like, for example, Instead of,
Narkina 5 is the disappeared box.
yeah, so that was our
Yeah.
disappeared box, and then Kino Loy is our escape. So
Oh,
we
that's
actually
nice. Yeah.
were able to incorporate some of the same elements, which is really cool.
Amazing arc. This one in the first season of Ender. That's really fun.
I love being able to just, the nice thing about making like a prototype where you can just take a bunch of IP, because you just need to represent the thing as it is before you go and pitch it. It's like really fun to just be able to like grab photos and then, kind of crank out like a prototype in a few hours for cards. That's just, it reminded me a lot of a game jam, actually, now that I think of it.
But with not the problem of, it's okay if you don't like you don't have the whole historical research problem.
Right. I only had
I guess
one.
you should read a bit of a few books, if you want it. But I
Yeah.
think, if you've seen the
for
show,
sure.
you've got most of it. We have a question here asking: will you go through the whole event deck in Ender, or like in the Shadows, or you have more cards that might not appear during the?
We did include a couple more cards, but only two, because there's still going to be one hold card that doesn't get played. But we wanted the game to go 10 rounds instead of 9.
Yeah,
And I feel like there was opportunities to use the turn track or round track as the AP track too, if we really wanted to. But yeah, and this is just like a really bare bones prototype. I started working on this like 2 weeks ago. So this is just like all came together like pretty quick. And then it was really helpful to have Joe take a look at it and then basically like beat it in the shape like immediately after I'd been doing all that work. Like, I just have a few questions, and I was like, okay, those are all problems actually, and I need to go fix that. So that was very helpful.
Alan is asking what historical research did you do for this? So what is your bibliography for?
I rewatched, so I had to rewatch the entire series twice while I'm actually making the prototype. And aside from that, going back to Hamadi's guerrilla generation, a guerrilla book on the guerrilla groups in Iran that I used for 1979, and a couple other things. Probably just have to circle back to some stuff I've already read that feels most convenient. It's much lighter than the other research projects I've got ongoing for games, so it was really quick turnaround.
And so, who has the license for Star Wars or for board games? Is it FFG or?
A few people, actually. Like I know, like obviously Asmodee's got a license for it. I think like Cryptozoic was one. There were like a few different ones. I had like a little list that I was given to by a friend in the industry to kind of like direct request to. So it seems pretty promising.
If that works, that would be awesome. Honestly,
that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be really, really good. Keep us posted on your progress. But yeah, that's fun, and thanks for showing this. It's a bit I'm super curious. I think it's a great theme to adapt the system to. So I think it's really cool. I hope it gets done. And that sounds really fun. But thanks a lot, Dan, for taking the time, showing us In the Shadows, getting all the Star Wars fanboys excited about something that might never exist, but who knows? It would be maybe one of those, secret games that we have that some people play, but they are not supposed to exist. I won't say any name, but they are also in the Star Wars IP. There are other secret Star Wars games that are floating around. So that's really cool. I hope this one gets made. I think it, like the level of complexity would be a very good fit. So I think that would work. And yeah, I agree with Genix. Like, it would be a really good fit, for something that is pretty appealing to a broader public, but also tackling the topic of Ender in a very smart way. And Tim was saying something that I think might be interesting, is that he thinks that Tony Gilroy would love historical gaming. I think, well, if anyone has any contact with the guy, I'm happy to have him on, to have him do a teach and play of a coin game, just to get him excited. I'm happy. Open invitation. Just
sure.
Just putting it out there. That's great. If you've liked the show tonight, you can subscribe to the channel. I think 50% of the viewers or more are not subscribed, and this is embarrassing. You shouldn't be doing this. You need to subscribe. So that's the first thing. And the second thing that you can do if you want, and that's actually donating on Coffee. If you donate on Coffee, you're going to have access to our Discord server. Dan is on the Discord server, so you get to chat with very cool people and play a Star Wars game that aren't released yet. So that's that's a way. So just riding the Disney wave right now, just trying to get money out of it. But yeah, no, thanks for watching. There was a lot of activity in the chat. It was really cool. I hope you enjoyed this. And then you're always welcome. Actually, we're planning on doing, I think, the 6th of July, a teach and play of God's Playground.
One of my favorite games of all time.
From Martin Wallace. So I'm saying,
yeah.
would you be interested in being one of the players?
Yeah, I would.
Yes, good.
That's an excellent game.
So that might, if we do it, that would be the 6th of July, and that would be the last stream of the 2024-2025 season. So follow me on Blue Sky if you want to know if it's happening or not. But if we do one last stream, if it's not this one, it's going to be God's Playground, which I've always wanted to try. So that's good. And no organics, I'm not sure I'm going to play Next War Iron. Not right now. I don't think that would be not the right time for this. But maybe later we can explore it. I think it's actually interesting, this whole Next War series. I'm actually interested in the topic that they choose, and I think maybe there is an overall discussion that we could have on what is being released in the Next War series. I think it says a lot about American society, but that's a discussion for another time. And that's true, Tim. If you donate to the Coffee, you can play with the world champion of Field of the Cloth of Gold, and that's Timothy. So he's there on the server. He's extremely annoying. He wins all the time. But yeah, if you want to learn how to play this amazing game by Amabel Holland, you can join the Coffee and join the Discord server. But thanks, everyone. Dan, have a great Sunday afternoon, because it's afternoon for you, I believe. And see you soon. I'll keep you posted about God's Playground.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.